Hello, everybody. Welcome to this podcast, and today we're going to be talking about the Big Joe controversy. When I say Big Joe, this is who I'm talking about. He's called Grandiose in French because he's the mascot for the Canadian football team, the Ottawa Red Blacks, and everything in Canada has to be partially inclusive of French people by law. I am not in Canada, so I don't have to pronounce it correctly. I can butcher it as much as I want, and the Canadian popo won't come after me. Now, because it's in Canada, I don't know if it's a real football team, or if it's what the rest of the world calls football, i.e. soccer, but by judging by the field in the picture, you can faintly make out some lines, and I'm guessing it's actually professionally recreational bowling. So his original name was going to be Big Joe Mufferaw, in reference to the Canadian folk hero Big Joe Mufferaw, who is basically a Canadian clone of Paul Bunyan, and he is named after real-life Joseph Montferrand. I also got that French name wrong. Take that, Canada. Currently, we are 2 layers deep into Big Joe's namesake. Big Joe is named after Big Joe Mufferaw, who's named after Joseph Montferrand. However, the naming of Big Joe the mascot as Big Joe Mufferaw was seen as offensive by some people, claiming that it took away the Frenchiness of Montferrand's name and alienated French Canadians. I'd like to take a brief moment to argue that if you actually take offense at using the name of the folktale legend instead of the guy it's based off of because it takes away from the Frenchiness of it all, you need to not do that. That's like if Paul Bunyan was based off of a guy called Paul Bunnies, and that by calling a random professional recreational bowling team's mascot Paul Bunyan somehow offended rabbits. Unfortunately, it is required by Canadian law to cater to French people in any debate or section of society, so they were able to get the name changed to Big Joe. Apparently, this was seen as a victory by French people, as somehow naming the mascot Big Joe inspires people to discuss the history of Joe Mufferaw and Montferrand, which I guess is sort of true because I'm talking about it in the podcast from the starting point of just Big Joe while I was hitting random article on Wikipedia, but that's beside the point. Imagine if I hadn't made this podcast, or had researched or if I had researched the topic poorly, then you wouldn't say, "Oh, Big Joe," and then think, I'm going to discuss the history of both the largely fictional Mufferaw and the very real Jos Montferrand. People don't do that. Well, maybe some people do. That's the Big Joe controversy. Thanks for watching.